Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the YouOrns 10-minute take on Queen's Park Rangers 1, Watford 0. The game today was a microcosm of the entire Watford season. No desire, no passion, very little desperation. In fact, none of that was on display, but for about 15 minutes in the second half. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? As Watford fell to defeat against a Queen's Park Rangers side who hadn't won a championship game in their last 13 games. In fact, hadn't won a game at home since October the 22nd. That's right. It had been almost 5 months since Queen's Park Rangers last won a game at home. That is just incredible to believe. It really, really is. But they did the thing that was incredible. They got the win, Queen's Park Rangers, and they deserved the win. And you should have seen their manager, Gareth Ainsworth, who has just recently been in charge of QPR, celebrating at the end as if Queen's Park Rangers had won promotion to the Premier League. You should have seen it, the scenes at the end of that game. It was incredible. There were two QPR players lying on the ground, lying on top of each other, just hugging each other as if they had been promoted. That's how much it meant to Queen's Park Rangers. That's how much it meant to their new manager. They put in a shift, and they deserve to win the game. In fact, they should probably be disappointed that they didn't put 2 or 3 goals past Watford today. Watford, I predicted, would lose this game. I said this not here, but I did say on a number of occasions on social media that Watford would lose this game. I said at least 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they did. They never play well against Queen's Park Rangers. They don't. They've only had one success against QPR in recent weeks, in recent years, I should say, and that was in the FA Cup. I almost said the FA Cup final. That was in the FA Cup in 2019, and Etienne Capoe's first half goal gave Watford the win against QPR. That was at the Kian Prince Stadium back then, and here, 4 years later at the Kian Prince, it was Watford losing to QPR. Watford now have not beaten QPR in the championship for a long time. Let's put it that way. A long time. It's been a long time. And Watford today were no closer to doing anything like beating QPR. They did not lay a glove on this QPR side the entire game. The entire game. That first half, not a single glove laid on the QPR goal. It was really poor from Watford. And you could see that Watford just did not have anything going forward. They were very frenzied in their possession today. They did not have a sense of cohesion in their play. They may have had more of the ball, but if you don't do anything with it and your end product isn't any good, who cares how much possession you had? They had about 57% first half possession, but it doesn't matter because in the 15th minute of this game, Queen's Park Rangers got on the scoreboard. It was so easy for QPR to get a goal that, my goodness me, that Watford defense, it doesn't matter who you have there. And there's some good defenders. Wesley Hood and Ryan Porteous, I think, are bread and butter defenders. But in this side, just not good enough. The team does not defend as a team very well. They just don't. And they are not enough Watford players who do the dirty work off the ball. They just don't do the dirty work. They don't fight. They don't want to fight on the other side of the ball. They only want to do what they think they're good at, but they don't want to do the other 2/3 of the game of football. Football requires that you do 100% of the game, not 33% of it. And these Watford players collectively are not doing enough on both sides of the ball to justify being in the starting lineup and to justify wanting to push for the playoffs. They don't want to push for the playoffs. They're pushing for the beach. In fact, correction, they've been on the beach almost the entire season. And because Watford have been on the beach this entire season, they have given you these kinds of displays. A Queen's Park Rangers side that had lost its last five championship matches in a row. They lost their last 5 games, this team that they lost to today. And that team, and I told you this in the Saturday preview, that QPR side were going to be up for this game. They were going to fight like hell against this Watford side, and this Watford side had to be ready for it. And they had to take the game to Queen's Park Rangers because it was very clear to me that Queen's Park Rangers were going to take the game to this Watford side. This is the Watford side that were in the Premier League last season. And that alone was going to motivate Queen's Park Rangers, let alone the fact that they hadn't won at home since October 22nd. So what you saw today was a QPR side dedicated to football, and you saw a Watford side dedicated to the beach. The easiest 97 minutes of football that Sammy Dieng is ever going to have as a QPR goalkeeper. That was an easy wage for him today. Easy wages. I mean, he didn't have to do anything. I think he had to make maybe one save, and they were tame shots on target. Really, really tame. A ball bobbled and bounced toward him, and there was a weak shot by Gaspar in the second half. That was the extent of it for Watford the entire match. Players that are supposedly players with quality, they don't play together. That's the problem. They don't give effort. They don't give hustle. They don't have the desperation about them. As I keep saying, this is not the time of season to expect great performances. This is the time of season in the business end of the season, where Watford have to put together a heart, a desire, a determination, a grit, a desperation, because those are the elements that are going to carry you through. To get those 3 points, you require those things and some nous and some end product and a final ball into the box that is going to be attacked. In fact, not most, all of that was missing today. And Ismail Assar went off injured, apparently a hamstring tweak. We'll, I'm sure, find out a lot more about whether he'll be available for the game on Tuesday night against Birmingham at the Vic. And you also have added to all of this, never mind that lot up the M1 going into Bramall Lane and beating Sheffield United today. Never mind that with our ex-manager. Never mind that. You also have the ignominy of having Hamza Chowdhury now is going to be banned for 2 games. He has a yellow card accumulation. He picked up a really silly yellow card at the end of the injury time portion of the first half of the game here today. And whether he got the ball or not, and I think he did get the ball, the referee said, no, yellow card for you. And so Hamza Chowdhury now is going to miss the next 2 games for Watford. This is a team now that's supposedly fighting for playoffs, and now you're going to be without one of your better players, a lone player, by the way, for the next 2 games, both home matches against teams you should be beating. Birmingham on Tuesday, next Saturday, Wigan, bottom of the league, Wigan. It wouldn't surprise me if Wigan pull off some kind of shock, by the way, a week from today. Would it shock you? So now we're going to be a Hamza Chowdhury for these next 2 games. Britt Assomolonga has not done anything at all for Watford in the very few minutes he's had anyway. He has not done a thing. Not done a thing. So I think the honeymoon for Britt is over. And as far as the rest of this Watford team is concerned, Keenan Davis, dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't think he's going to get a goal now the remainder of the season. This is a very miserable run now for Keenan Davis. The last time before today that QPR won was the last time that Keenan Davis scored a goal for Watford. Seriously, October was the last time that Keenan Davis got on the score sheet for Watford. It's been that poor. It's been that bad. And then when you have a Hive Live video feed that has no commentary to it, and you have a Hive Live audio where you don't hear any commentary at all, imagine being that Watford fan. And I know a few Watford fans who actually did pay for this audio feed for Hive Live today. And they heard for the first 21 minutes of this match, nothing but fan noise, crowd noise. And they also heard the roar and the shouts of the QPR fans after that 15th minute goal. There was no Watford commentary at all. The first 21 minutes of this game. There was even a moment on the video feed where I was watching that switched from the QPR Watford match to the Burnley Wigan match. We got some of that as Watford fans today on Hive Live. I mean, this continues the embarrassment and the complete, absolute dysfunction that's going on now with this club that we love. It's absolutely going from bad to worse. Absolute clown show. You got fans who, for 21 minutes, who paid for the audio. Much worse. I mean, I paid for the video, so at least I could see the game. But for those people, those Watford fans who actually paid for the audio pass, they got nothing at all. No commentary, just noise from the crowd at the Kian Prince Stadium for 21 minutes. Got to be some kind of refund for those fans, particularly, but also for all of us who paid for any Hive Live service, be it video or audio. It looks like they need refunds again here, like they gave us a couple of weeks ago against Sheffield United. This is just symptomatic of everything else that's going on at this club at the moment. Players that don't want to play, players that don't care, an owner that seems to care even less about the fans, and an organization when it comes to communicating with the fans that is still no better in its communication in many respects than last season. And the disillusionment grows. It's just a horrible time at Watford Football Club. Horrible time. It really is. The only bright spot is that you've got a first team of women who are playing very well and having a very good season. That is the only thing that we can really hold on to as Watford supporters. The women's team are doing a very good job this season under Damon Lathrop, and I hope that continues. Onward it may go, and I hope it does. Watford are in the final of the FAWNL Cup. So, that's one thing I'm going to be holding on to this season, because there's nothing to hold on to where the Watford men are concerned. Absolutely shambolic. Your Hive Life don't work. You can't get to tune out the players. You keep sacking managers, and the same thing happens. The definition of insanity is what we continue to see at this football club, and today was no exception. This has been the YouOrns 10-minute take.